what really was important, I think, was that the person who first discovered Linear B tablets, Arthur Evans, was convinced that the dominant civilization in the Eastern Mediterranean in the latter part of the Bronze Age was Minoan, that's to say from Crete, that it was based at Knossos, and that this civilization was not a Greek civilization. He firmly believed the people involved were pre-Greeks, or at least people living in Greek, what is now Greek territory, but were not themselves ethnically Greek. It's very hard to challenge the prestige of someone like Evans, who's done all this pioneering work. So even Ventris himself, when he started working on the Linear B tablets, was absolutely convinced that the language could not be Greek. And it's kind of interesting that he discovered it was Greek against his own instincts, which for me is kind of a fairly powerful extra dimension in proving that the process of decipherment was genuine and that it was on the right track. You know, he was as shocked as anybody else when all this Greek stuff started coming out as a result of the decipherment. So I think the most exciting thing is that it turned the received view of this period of archaeology completely on its head. I think for a number of reasons. First of all, I think the way he tells it is exemplary. He could simply have summed it all up, you know, this is how we did it and isn't it great? But what he actually does is tell it rather in the manner of a detective story. So you get the false leads, the false hopes, the sudden bits of insight, the inspiration, the breakthroughs, the reactions, the criticisms, the endorsements. It all comes very much in the manner of an evolving plot. And I think that holds the reader extremely well. There's the whole issue of the sort of Indiana Jones effect. I think there's an inherent romance in studying the skills, personalities, achievements of people who investigate ancient civilizations. And the whole idea of cracking the code, I think, is going to guarantee that there will always be excited readers looking to find out how these things work. But finally, I think the real importance of the book from a more serious point of view is that it outlines the kind of methods you have to adopt if you want to achieve any kind of credible success. You can't decipher scripts unless there's a very large quantity of relevant material so that you can do serious statistical analysis. Even if you do serious statistical analysis and start to break things down into patterns that you can work with, you can be misled very easily by what you want to be true. Ideology can override evidence very, very easily in this kind of field. What John demonstrates very clearly in the book is that you have to stick to your guns and you have to put logic and rigor ahead of anything else that you might like to be true, but you haven't yet demonstrated to be true.